Welcome everyone to another startup and automobile documentation. What we have here is a 2006 Pontiac GTO. This GTO is painted in brazen orange metallic. On the key you have the buttons for lock, unlock, and trunk release. Storage on the door panels, climate vent for the driver. It does have power mirrors, power windows and locks are in the center console. This one has a black interior and leather seat upholstery came as standard. Both front seats are fully powered with manual lumbar support. But now that we're behind the wheel, let's go ahead and start the engine. Today we're checking out an American muscle car that is named after a Ferrari and was built in Australia. That sounds like an odd combo, but the 04 to 06 Pontiac GTO is just that. As for the Pontiac GTO nameplate, it's one of the most well-known and legendary pieces of American muscle car history, with the original Pontiac GTO playing a pivotal role in the American muscle car explosion of the 1960s. The name GTO was inspired by a famous race car from Italy, none other than the Ferrari 250 GTO. The original iteration of the Pontiac GTO debuted in 1964 and was based on the midsize Pontiac Tempest, but with a more powerful, higher displacement V8 stuffed under the hood. For the next several years, the GTO would surge in popularity and truly cement its impressive legacy. By '74, however, the fuel crisis had hit, and the GTO had switched to a smaller Chevy Nova-derived platform and was only making about 200 horsepower. '74 would be the model's last year for quite a long time. But then, 30 years later for 2004, the GTO would make a comeback. This GTO for the modern era went back to its muscle car roots with a rumbling LS V8, sleek styling, rear-wheel drive, and an available 6-speed manual. The modern GTO would be made for just 3 years, from 2004 to 2006, and 2006 would be the last year for the GTO as a whole. Now where does the whole built in Australia thing come in? Well, the 04 to 06 GTO is in fact a rebadged third-generation Holden Monaro, a muscle car made by Holden, the former Australian subsidiary of GM. So these things were likewise built by Holden in Australia. The GTOs may have been built down under, but being destined for the US market, they were left-hand drive, unlike their right-hand drive Holden siblings. 2004 GTOs used a 5.7-liter LS1 V8 with 350 horsepower, but 05s and 06s got an upgraded engine, that being a 6-liter LS2 V8 with a solid 400 horsepower. The 2006 model year Pontiac GTO came in just one sole trim level. The engine was that aforementioned 6-liter 400 horsepower LS2 V8. 2 transmissions were on offer, those being a 4-speed automatic or this car's 6-speed manual. Yes, the automatic was standard, and it was actually the stick you had to pay extra for. We have orange-faced gauges. You have your tachometer and speedometer and your fuel and temperature gauges. Then you also have some digital info displays, which you can go through via these controls right here. With your odometer, trip computers. All 3 displays will display different things. And you have some settings to go through. You can toggle between your English and metric. And then you have your radio info, digital speedometer. And with this button, you can pop open the fuel door. It has a 4-spoke design, leather-wrapped, multifunctional steering wheel, orange color contrast stitching, and as for controls on either side, you will find your audio controls. The steering wheel is tilt and telescopic. You have your headlight switch, aforementioned fuel door release. On this side, you'll have your high beam, turn signal, and cruise control stalk, while on this side, you'll find your wiper stalk. Going down the center of the interior, you have your central climate vents, hazard switch, info display controls. You have a set of single zone manual climate controls, so just your fan speed, temperature, different zones, your AC, rear defroster. Right here is your whole radio interface. It is AM, FM, with a 6-disc CD changer as well. You have a display screen right here, a little bit of storage ahead of the shifter, lighter and ashtray. For reverse, just go all the way over and up. The parking brake is hand operated. You have cup holders right here. Right here are where your power window controls are located. You have your power door lock switch and your traction control toggle button. You have a center console with some storage, along with a 12-volt power outlet. It is illuminated. And the glove box is lockable. Right here's your trunk release button. Manually dimming rear view. Both sun visors do have vanity mirrors and lights. And your overhead lighting. And I haven't been this excited to film a car in quite some time. I mean, these are, from my experience, very, very uncommon. I almost never see these things. Super cool, you know, built in Australia by Holden. One last hurrah for the famous Pontiac GTO nameplate. I mean, just awesome to check one of these out and get up close and personal with one of these. But now we'll go ahead and take a look at the engine bay, and I guess we'll roll down the front passenger window. Automatic down, because the driver's one's not working right now. This one has the optional 18-inch 5-spoke alloy rims. Powering the GTO is GM's LS2 6-liter naturally aspirated V8 engine. It's a pushrod engine with an aluminum block, aluminum heads, and 2 valves per cylinder. Horsepower is rated at 400 at 6,000 RPM, and torque is rated at 400 pound-feet at 4,400 RPM. Sending that power to the rear wheels of this GTO is the available Tremec close-ratio 6-speed manual transmission. Running on recommended premium unleaded with an 18-gallon fuel tank, updated EPA estimates are 15 mpg in the city and 23 mpg on the highway for GTOs with the 6-speed manual. It has a McPherson strut front suspension and a multi-link rear suspension. Stopping the car are 4-wheel performance disc brakes. Curb weight is roughly 3,700 pounds, give or take. And we'll hop in the back seat. Both front seats do have mat pockets on the backs. Rear passengers do get their own set of climate vents, as well as a little bit of storage. Space back here, I'm about 6'1", and headroom is surprisingly not too bad. My head's not even hitting against the roof. Actually, it's somewhat roomy, at least compared to what I was expecting. I'd say this is actually a more comfortable back seat than like a comparable Mustang or Camaro, but I guess this is kind of a different class. I wouldn't really consider this a pony car. But I mean, still have nice padded leather stitching right here. This is soft to the touch. The back seats are actually supportive and pretty comfortable. I mean, yeah, it's no limousine, but I guess with the front seat up, that's actually up kind of far. So legroom, it's kind of hard to judge. I mean, that's what legroom is with the passenger seat there, but yeah, it's actually not the most uncomfortable backseat I've been in, which is impressive for a two-door coupe. Dual exhaust. The GTO's trunk provides 7 cubic feet of space. It's an interesting looking spare wheel. And the fuel cap, as seen earlier, is on the passenger side. Anyhow, thanks for checking out this tour of this 2006 Pontiac GTO. And as always, stay on the lookout for future tours.